Okay, so we're making Armenian
Strong.
coffee. That's very strong. That's
It
very,
is
very
quite strong, yeah.
Okay, we need the coffee. What time did you
I
sleep
need a
last
coffee,
night?
but I don't need like heart palpitations.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah. I do my best thinking at night, so unfortunately I was up late getting some work done. But I had myself a tea latte, and that's about as much caffeine as I can handle.
A tea latte, okay.
A tea latte. Wait, just kidding. How does this go? It's filtered.
It's filtered. Oh, thank God. Okay, I was gonna say. I don't want to.
What is it? 1 per spoon? Is that what it is? It's 1 per spoon, right?
She's asking like I've made Armenian coffee. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Firstly, we had Tina, what, a year and a half ago?
I think it's been a while. It's been a minute, yeah.
She was one of the first people that I interviewed on my channel. Wait, which camera should I look at, you guys? All of them. She was the first person I interviewed on my channel a year and a half ago. It was amazing. Everyone loved it. To this day.
Was it really?
One of the first people, yeah.
That's really cool.
I think you're like
didn't
the
know
third person. It was Andy,
Oh, okay.
the singer Andy,
of
and then
course.
Fred, and then Tina.
Well, it was my pleasure. It's nice to have you back.
Thank you. And now we live like 7 minutes apart.
We do. So you moved into your place. I moved into this place, and
We need to walk now.
I know.
Minimum-
I'm gonna take you for a walk in a minute.
Okay. We have a few questions to ask for Tina.
Talk to me.
Because so many people adore her. So she is not like the stereotypical lawyer looking person. She's an amazing inspiration. She's
Aw.
a fashionista, she's a mom, she's a superwoman, she's a wife, she's an entrepreneur, she's a designer apparently. Look at this beautiful home. How do you do that?
It was on my bucket list.
And you ticked it off?
I took it off. It was 2 years of trial and error and lots of mistakes, but it finally came out exactly the way I wanted, so.
Now you need Architectural Digest to come and do a shoot here.
We're working on that.
Really?
Yeah.
We're manifesting that, you guys. But how does it feel to be doing what you're doing and you're so not the norm? So
You know
tell
what? I
people.
think my job as a brain injury lawyer is like super intense and I love it, right? But it's not super creative, right? It's heavy. So this is my creative outlet.
Yeah.
I get to dress myself. I get to design my house. It's, it's all part of the creative outlet. You got one life.
Why not?
Right?
Why not have green, beautiful cabinets with marble?
Why not?
Why not? It's a beautiful shade of green. Yeah, why be the norm? And I love that for you. And I think your boys look up to you in a way that they're like, if mom can do this, I can become and do whatever I want in life.
I hope so. I mean, I'm hoping they get around to that.
Yeah.
Right now, they're just like, mom's such a pain in the ass, but hopefully they'll appreciate me one day.
Once they leave this chapter, they'll be good. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Okay. Tanajan, how's the coffee going? It's
I
still going?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't put any, was I supposed to put sugar in here? Just asking for a friend. Sugar?
Now, before we jump into today's video, I want to thank our sponsor, Sensibon. Now, I've been obsessed with this brand for the past year, and I want to talk about their recent release. Sensibon recently came out with the ultimate collection in luxury-scented foaming hand soap tablets. It's so quick and easy to use. All you have to do is grab your favorite tablet and put it into the foamer, and you get this beautiful, thick, foam-like soap. And it smells absolutely delicious. Now, besides their products being the best gift to give to anyone, their products are aesthetically pleasing and so luxurious to look at. Now, I recently also tried their multi-purpose cleaning tablets. Once again, all you have to do is pop in the tablet and you get this beautiful scent all in the house. There are different scents to pick from. They are free from harsh chemicals and they don't contain bleach. Now, of course, I have to shed some light onto the hero products, which is their laundry detergent sheets and their dryer sheets. Now, these are absolutely amazing. Now, the detergent sheets have 60 loads in one box. They are sustainable, biodegradable, and eco-friendly. Now, you can wash his and hers clothes together, and even if you have skin irritations like eczema, it does not irritate the skin at all. It's hyperallergenic. Their dryer sheets are also infused with luxury scent that does not linger on. You can get scents that remind you of famous fragrances like Chanel No. 5 and Baccarat Rouge, and they definitely soften the clothing. They're also great space savers, so definitely check them out in the link below.
Panak, wanak, no panak?
Spicy.
Chinganes.
Tanajan, thank you for having me on your coffee table, on your kitchen
you.
table.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's see if she can really make a good coffee.
Oh.
No, it's good.
Oh, no.
What? What's wrong with
That
it?
is so strong.
Oh, is it?
I would
like
die.
it.
I can't drink that.
I like it.
This, on the other hand, though.
Oh my God, this is so good. This
This is
nice.
a pan au raisin. This is my favorite thing. When
Is
I go
it
to
really?
Paris, okay, the cheapest pan au raisin you can get is the best.
Okay.
It's by Pret Manger, which is their like 7-Eleven.
Is it really?
They make the best pan au raisins.
Oh my
We're obsessed
God.
with these, so thank you for this.
I'm so happy. Well, thank my dad. Like, Dad,
Thank you,
I
Dad.
need chamorro. we're both on social media. It's what we do for the most part. How do you think mental health can like affect you if you're on social media? And in this day and age, all kids are on social media. So
Oh my gosh.
what do you think about that?
Cut right to the chase, huh?
Yeah.
This is something that I struggle with, honestly, every day.
You do?
I do.
And no one would think that you do.
And no, like I struggle with it in a sense that you have to kind of be mindful of the content that you're putting out there, right?
100%.
The majority of my followers are female between the ages of like, I don't know, 20 and 35, right?
Yeah.
And you remember what it's like to be like an impressionable 20-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, I barely remember. It's been a long time. But like,
She's like, you're 30, relax, okay?
no, but like you would see magazines and you'd be like, see these like airbrushed images of perfection and feel like, oh my gosh, you know, like
I have to look that way.
right. And so now I feel like young women are like on social media a lot, right?
Yeah.
And all you're seeing is sort of edited,
The perfect.
face-tuned, airbrushed, you know, surgically intervened, filled, you know, like faces and
Plastered,
images
yeah.
plastered. And it's kind of like, you know, they feel like that's the norm and that's the expectation. And these are like impressionable years and they're young and I struggle. I make it a point to really try to keep my social media content as real as possible. Like sometimes I'll get some hate and stories because I'll have like no makeup on.
Yeah.
Usually when I have no makeup on, I'll like do a Paris filter or something, but once in a while, you know, and they'll just be like, oh, like you look, you know, and look, it's not all glitz and glamour all the time, and that's life and that's okay. And I think you have to be mindful of the content you're putting out because mental health is a huge epidemic, as you know, that is impacting young women of our generation, and you just have to be mindful that you're not contributing to the epidemic and you're maybe doing something to kind of help it a little bit in some small way,
100%.
right?
And you never know what one thing is going to affect someone.
Yeah, that's
Whether
true.
it's like one story, one post, like someone can look at that and be like, I don't want to be here anymore because I will never level up to that or I'll never look that way. That's serious, you know?
That is really serious. It's funny, we were talking about that the other day where I was saying, you know, mental health should be part of like the school curriculum.
1000%.
Right? So you're teaching kids, look, you're not going to be happy all the time. It's not all roses all the time. It's okay to feel sad sometimes. It's okay to get depressed. This is what you do. We teach you meditation. We teach you,
You
know,
go to
positive
therapy.
affirmations, therapy, talk to someone, you know,
Yes.
as opposed to, but of course, if they did that, then there were so many industries that would lose out on millions of dollars of, you know, whether it's a cosmetic
1000%.
industry, it's a cosmetic surgery industry, you know, it's people who are selling you stuff,
Yeah.
the stuff to give you the constant happy and the
100%.
you know, the boost and the happy hormones. And I try to make my social media as reflective of the ups and downs in my life as I possibly can, you know? So like if I'm having a bad day, if I lost in court, if I'm just, you know, going through COVID and just in the thick of it and look like shit for 3 weeks, like I make sure to put that in my story.
And you do a good job. You do a good job doing that.
You know, so as to, because it's all part of the human condition, right?
Yeah.
You never want someone to feel
Yeah.
alienated or left out.
No, not at all. And I think it's very important what you're doing, and we need more people like you. We need more people to take away that like smoggy mirror and like show their authentic self and be themselves. I remember for years, I thought I had to put on a persona. I was like, hi everyone, welcome back to my... And Ireland's like, my brother was like, just be yourself. And I was like, if I'm myself, they'll think I'm crazy. He's like, that's what people want.
Yeah.
And I started...
I love your crazy.
Thank you.
Your crazy resonates with my
I love
crazy.
your crazy. Match made in heaven. No, I love that. And I think it's important for more people to know that not one day is like perfect, ups and downs. And if the road was like this, how boring.
Yeah,
You need
absolutely.
this.
You absolutely do need this. And it's all, you know, it's all part of the journey, right?
I agree. Are you ready?
No, but hit me.
Tina,
Yes.
thoughts on female influencers around
Jesus.
your age that are contributing to the epidemic of like fillers, surgery.
Did you come here today with the thought in your mind that I'm gonna roast Tina and ask her a bunch of tough questions?
I woke up today and I said, how can I make Tina feel the most uncomfortable she's been in her entire life? And yeah. So
Look, I don't feel uncomfortable.
what are your thoughts on that? Tell me.
I have some great friends like yourself who are female influencers. I wouldn't say in my age group, you're a lot younger, but like, you know, there's some great content out there, but there's some toxic content out there, as you know.
What do you classify as toxic?
Toxic content is anything that I think contributes to this thwarted perception of reality, right? And so contributes to the plastic surgery epidemic, to the mental health epidemic, this unnatural, unhealthy fixation on perfection, right?
Yes, perfection.
Perfection. And so, you know, it's concerning that they're actually passing laws in Europe where influencers have to indicate if, let's say, an image is photoshopped, right? Yeah. There are applications here that people live by, like the Facetune and the Face app and the Face this and the Face that. So that's definitely, you know, toxic if you've got someone that's got, you know, whose entire persona is predicated on this false image. That's, you know, problematic. And then you have folks that, look, I think plastic surgery is a really personal decision, right? Yeah. And everyone's entitled to do what they want with their face. The problem is when you have a platform and when you're in the public eye, that comes with a little bit of a responsibility, especially, you know, when you're shaping subsequent generations to kind of be mindful of what you're putting out there, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So there's, you know, there's a lot of toxic content, as you put it, but there's also a lot of incredible content, you know, and I always like to kind of post in my stories other women who I think are doing great things. There's this one lady I follow who's super cool. I'll post her in stories later, but like she's, you know, 53 and she's this Asian woman and she's all about embracing her 50s and looking natural and it being okay. And she's super stylish and super chic. And, you know, she's trying to break that perception and that stereotype of like aging is death, like aging is doom, because it's much better than the alternative.
No, they're so lucky to be aging.
Right. It's better than the alternative, which is death. Right. And so,
yeah,
you know, I think there's a lot of work to be done to kind of clean up. But I think the responsibility is on influencers, but I think, you know, oftentimes the content's not maybe necessarily going to improve, right? And so I think people need to be mindful of what they're consuming. So if you're consuming something that's making you feel bad or making you feel like, you know,
unfollow them.
Then you know, either unfollow or mute. Yeah. Mute's a great option.
Mute's a great option.
And you know, and you do that. There's a lot of mean girl stuff going on social media. There's a lot of schoolgirl stuff going on social media. But there's also a lot of great content that you can learn from, like empowering content. You know, and uplifting content. And so, you know, I've got a lot of accounts that I follow actively that, you know, give me like my morning affirmation or give me like the good quote of the day or, you know, whatever it is.
Of course.
Because at the end of the day, you're shaping the neurotransmitters in your brain, right?
100%.
And you owe it to yourself to consume content that makes you happy and uplifts you and contributes positively to your life,
1,000%.
right?
And what you feed your brain is so important. What your brain sees, what your brain reads. No, please don't fall. But also, I think I always say when you start a new year or new week or new day, whatever it is, don't do it just like a physical detox, but do it like a social media detox. Unfollow people that don't, you know, give you anything, that don't benefit you mentally, emotionally. Why?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Anybody.
Well, how do you?
That was really scary. What the fuck?
Mercy, oh Lord.
I don't drink, so this is like...
I don't either, hold on.
Somebody get me some tea.
It's like the blind leading the blind here.
Cheers, baby.
Cheers to 2024. Thank you. This is good.
Okay.
Your face says it all. I love this vibe.
Thank you. I designed this bar myself. I'm very proud of it. It's one of my favorite like parts of the house, and they like make fun of me and say, but you don't even drink.
I was just gonna say you don't even drink. So
yeah, but it's aesthetically pleasing to me. It makes me happy.
I love it. No, I agree. It's very nice. I love everything that you've done. The mirror, this, that, everything.
Thank you.
Very cute. Okay, so being in the industry that you're in, you deal with so many mean girls, jealousy. How do you deal? Ooh, Lord, how do you deal with that?
Honestly, I have to say, in the legal community, I don't feel like that at all. I feel like women, for the most part, support one another, which I really sort of appreciate. I think anytime I've had an issue or I've had, you know, cattiness or unkindness, it's been from male colleagues usually who kind of have a problem maybe seeing a woman in a position of power. But if you're talking about like social media influencing and stuff, I try to stay above it, honestly. I think once in a while there'll be an encounter where you're like, oof, that was unpleasant. And I actually learned a lesson last year where I had an unpleasant encounter with someone from our past, and I reacted to it, and I kind of let it get to me, and use that as a learning experience, that nothing should have that much power over you. And God decides who's meant to be in your path, and if someone's not meant to be a part of your circle or be in your path, then that's okay, and there's a reason for that. And, and so, I think friendships are organic, they should be uplifting, they should be easy, right?
Easy, I like that, it should be easy.
And if they're not, then it's not meant to be.
It's trying to tell you something.
It's trying to tell you something. And so I've been really blessed. A lot of my really close friends are people that I've been friends with for decades, right? My best friend I've been friends with for over 30 years. And that's what keeps you grounded. It's like your core circle of people. They're your people, right?
They bring you back down to earth.
They bring you down to earth, and so everything else kind of just doesn't matter. If it's a pleasant encounter, then I'm grateful for it. If it's an unpleasant encounter, which once in a while might happen, you just kind of chalk it up to
you learn from it and you move on.
Yeah.
I have that personality. My mom's like, it's so bad, but if I see someone or if I feel energy's off, I'm like, I either love you or I don't like you. I don't have a middle ground. That's
really great though. I appreciate that about you, because what you see is what you get, and you nailed it on the head, or you hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
Energies are everything. I think you need to trust your gut. And if your gut tells you something is off, someone can tell you they're happy for you, they want the best for you, so on and so forth, but your gut tells you otherwise, you should listen, right?
It's a hard red
I think
flag.
Intuition and your gut, and especially after 4 decades of life, I've gone pretty good at thin slicing people and understanding, where the energy is, right? 100%. And I'm all about energies and vibes and positive
100%.
vibes. And if I sense otherwise, I'm usually out like a light.
And I love that, as you should be.
Right?
No,
I mean,
1,000,000%.
I don't have time for that.
No.
Neither do you.
No. We are typically our worst critics. No one watches us more than we watch ourselves.
Yeah.
And I want to know, because you're very positive, and I get this question asked a lot too, but I love to hear different people's answers.
Yeah.
So let's say you're having a bad day. You're drained, you're exhausted, you're angry. What does Tina do? How do you handle that? Everyone handles it differently. What do you do?
I mean, look, it happens often, right? Because my work is kind of heavy, and I'm dealing with people at a really tough time in their life, and I take on a lot of the burden for them, and I do that gladly, and I enjoy it, and I love being a part of Silver Lining. But yeah, it does wear on you once in a while, and then you couple that with having young children and
you have to be on
and responsibilities and all of that.
Yeah.
It gets to be a little overwhelming sometimes. And so, look, I surround myself with a village of people who are there to support me and see me and my family succeed, right? And so I think, one thing I learned early on is to ask for help, because
it's not shameful.
It's not shameful at all. So at first I would, for example, have a chauffeur to drive me places, and I was like, God, that's so, why do I need a chauffeur? That's so
well, you had a
extra,
chauffeur to
right?
drive you places?
I mean, I do. If I'm going to court or if I'm going somewhere far away, I'll have my driver take me, and the reason for that is so it can free up some time for me to get some work done on the road, or just kind of decompress in between meetings or whatever it is. So I think making provision for yourself to do things for yourself, right, is a must. It makes you less reactive. It makes you less agitated, makes you less likely to bite someone's head off if something doesn't go your way.
World War III,
right?
100%.
And so, I've got a standing appointment with my massage therapist. God bless her. She comes once a week. I usually I've got an awesome glam room upstairs where I'll get hair and nails and, my necessary kind of upkeep in order, so that I can
foundation, so you can be Tina,
right?
You can be you.
And then if once in a while I need some downtime, and trust me, I do, right? I'll be in a mediation somewhere, and I'll just be on a rooftop, just lounging by the pool, or whatever I need to do to just kind of decompress,
Yeah, and go back to square one.
Yeah, and I think it's taken a long time for me to learn that I need to prioritize myself, and it's still a work in progress. I think after moving into this house, one thing that I do that I really, really enjoy is I call it forestication. It's my version of meditation. I go on daily hikes and walks in these trails with my kids.
I love that.
It's super peaceful. You feel like you're out in the wilderness somewhere, and you kind of connect with nature. For someone who's super ADD and short attention span, that's so necessary to kind of ground me.
No, I love that. You deserve that.
And so I do a lot of those kinds of relaxing activities to decompress a bit, you know?
And I think you're also teaching your kids a lesson here that it's not always go, go, go. You can be successful and have a rest. You can be successful and have a downtime session, you know? It's so important.
I mean, I think for them, I try to make them go with me. It's like a chore now. Mommy, do we have to go walking again? But I'm just hoping that they're developing good habits, and then they'll, you know, thank me later or appreciate it later. You know, it's not all about video games and watching TV. I'm super strict with them because, again, you know, I like to be mindful of what they consume at 8 and 10. These are such developmentally important years, and I can't have them turning into zombies, which they do if they've had excessive like screen time or whatever. So I try to peel them off. And
no, you're doing a good job, and I think you're a great mom because it shows your kids are a reflection of you, like my mom says, and your kids are so polite, Shorokin, and just like,
oh, I appreciate that.
They
so
really
much.
are. Like
they haven't dropped any F-bombs around you?
No, not around
me.
Oh,
thank God.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
no, they come up to me. They're like, "Hi, Lilian, how are you? I remember when you did." And I'm like,
oh, the Tim Tams.
The Tim Tams.
I told them you're coming, and they're like, "Is that the girl that brought us the Tim Tams?"
They're so sweet. No, but I think it says a lot because even small gestures, like when someone comes to your house to leave the couch, come say hi, hug them, how are you, is a big thing that a lot of people don't, like a lot of kids don't do. So the fact that your kids did that, and they were so honored and polite.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. That means
Tina's
a lot.
clearly done something right. It's like the little things that make the biggest difference. When it comes to your husband, you guys do a lot of things together, but a lot of things separately too. What's one thing that you need from each other to be on the same page? What's one thing that you need? You need it in a partner that you have now.
Who says we're on the same page?
I mean, I'm assuming you are.
Okay.
You can,
so first misconception, you're not always on the same page. You don't always have to be on the same page. Healthy couples fight all the time. They disagree all the time, and that's part of a normal kind of marriage, I think. For us, we actually do a lot of things together, a lot more than we do apart.
Okay.
Even if things, and he is a lot more patient, a lot more giving with respect to doing more of the things that I like to do and I enjoy. My job is very kind of stressful, and he's mindful of that, and he tries to make provision for my cuckoo-ness, and, and
he tries to balance things out.
Right, and balance things out. And so he's kind of the patient one, and I'm, you know, the kite and the string. He's the string and I'm the kite. Exactly, 100%. So, for example, when I go on my fashion excursions and stuff, I could go alone, but I generally prefer to go with him. And so it's not necessarily his hobby, but he'll go along, which is really great.
To support you.
I think, like, someone who's supportive, who understands the other person's needs, and it might not be exactly what they want, but they're okay to kind of, you know. I'm fortunate in a sense that he's easier, you know, he's less particular. And so he's more go with the flow. And so it ends up working out that way just because, you know, between my job and my hobbies and the kids, it's a lot, right?
Chaos,
And we are older parents. Like, it took us a while to have our 2 kids. And so we don't take them for granted at all. We know that their youth is fleeting, and they're no longer those babies they were with the big curly hair 3 or 4 years ago. And so, healthy or not, we really like to take them out on our date nights. We do date nights together, but we like to do family date nights a lot, family activities a lot more than, you know, you would normally expect. And, you know, we really enjoy our kids, right? And so we enjoy doing things as a family. We'll do family bed. Once in a while, you know, we go on our hikes together, we do all these things together, and he's okay with that, you know, and he's understanding of that, because as a working mom, you don't always get to spend as much time with your kids as you want, and there's a lot of, like, you know, mom guilt and stuff, and so let's say we're supposed to go out on a dinner date night on a Friday night. You know, he loves it and is okay to have the kids come and make it a family date night once in a while if that's what I want to do. So
but I think that shows also because so many parents, so many people over here, it's really sad, they use their kids as like accessories. They're just, you know, they're just there, you know, but they put themselves first, which you should, but they put themselves first to a different extent, their husband, their friends, their party, their holidays. But it shows that you guys don't do that.
No, I mean, look, I appreciate that. Like, so Christmas and New Year's, we had, you know, first of all, we were all home with COVID during Christmas, but New Year's, we had a bunch of invitations to, like, great, you know, adult parties or, like, you know, concerts, this, that, and the other. And we've done that in the past. It's just this year, the kids were old enough, they wanted to stay up. You know, my dad wanted to come over. We had a big slumber party, and we just did, like, a family low-key New Year's, which I can't remember the last time we've done that, but it was so nice to just be together, you know?
Yeah, and just be under one roof and celebrate it.
Yeah.
Because these times are going to go and come back. And I think, what's that saying? You're only with your kids for like a few Christmases until they...
Until they go do their own thing. I mean, I already see it with my older one, you know?
No, it's already happening.
It's already, like, he's not as excited to travel with or go with everywhere. He likes to kind of do his own thing. He wants to go, you know, watch a basketball game instead of... So I'm enjoying this phase as much as possible.
You're looking good.
Yeah.
I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. What is your favorite pinch me moment? Because you did Fashion Week. So what was that like? When was there a time that you were like, oh my, like what is my life? What am I doing in Paris?
I mean, there's been quite a few.
I mean, I can imagine.
Right? Anna Wintour is my idol.
Well, you met her, right?
I met her several times.
Oh
I've, you know, talked to her. I've, you know, had the, you know, privilege of like having a meal with her, and she is honestly incredible. And not only because of my love and passion for fashion, right? Mm-hmm. She is the strongest woman in media, right?
Was it like The Devil Wears Prada and you had a heart attack?
No, honestly, like, when she's in the thick of it and there's a lot going on, like I got to go to Vogue World, and so it was like really intense programming, and everyone and their mother and like celebrities and stuff were there, and so it was very intense, and it's very business, and you know, she's on a very tight schedule, and so I think people maybe mistake that kind of energy that they're getting as, you know, being rude, and it's not at all. It's just like, she means business. She's got things to get done, and I can certainly relate to that, right? There are times where maybe I come off as curt or whatever, but there's, you know, a bunch of stuff coming at me, and what I have to manage isn't nearly at the caliber of, you know, things that she's got to juggle and manage. So I love meeting her because to me she symbolizes no limits. Like as a woman, you know, she's the strongest woman in media. She oversees, you know, Vogue and all of the Condé Nast publications, and the amount of success she's been able to amass, and she keeps going and going, and she's ageless. She's in her 70s. She still holds that position. She still garners that kind of respect and influence. And to me, you know, as a businesswoman, entrepreneur, an attorney in my 40s, that's, you know, everything I aspire to. And so that was an amazing pinch me moment. And she was kind and nice, and she actually had a conversation, and she was so like down to earth, and it was definitely a pinch me moment. And it got captured on, like, some of it was captured on video, and I went back and I watched, and I was like, and my husband was like, oh, you didn't freeze up, and you talked to her and you had a great, and I was like, yeah, it was really, really great. So
has there been any celebrity that you've met that you're like, oh my God, I've watched this person for years and they're right there?
No, so I mean, look, I always tell my kids, because they're all about, oh my God, this basketball player or that football player. They're big on like athletes, and we've got a lot of them that live in this community, and so they get starstruck when we see them at the farmer's market. And I always try to tell them, son, they're just a human being like me and you. And I really kind of believe that. I don't really put anyone on a pedestal, with the exception of
who do we have the exception of?
J-Lo. I'm obsessed with her. I think she's incredible. I've seen her at a couple of shows.
Does she live in this community too? You know?
She did. She moved though. I think she's like Mulhollandish now.
Oh, okay.
But she used to.
We'll get there.
So
baby steps.
So that, you know, I recently met Anastasia, and she to me is
I mean, she's amazing. Her story.
She's incredible. Her story is amazing, and you know, she represents first generation grit and hustle, and she was so like down to earth. And you know, I was talking to her about my journey in fashion and wanting to do something beyond law, and she was like, well, let me introduce you to so and so, let's talk to so and so. Well, what it is that you think you want to do? And she was so willing to kind of help and be so down to earth, and it really kind of reaffirmed my philosophy on like empowering and you know, motivating young generation of people coming up behind you, because I try to mentor like young attorneys and law students all the time, and I really feel like that contributes to my success. And to see someone who's achieved that level of success be that willing and down to earth was just really kind of a full circle moment for me. So that was kind of cool. But I've met some incredible people. I've been very fortunate. You know, some of my clients, they're not celebrities, but you know, you look at what they've been through in life. They've sustained brain injuries. They're not who they were before. Some of them are relearning how to like walk and talk, and
that's crazy.
You know, and they still get up in the morning, and they still show up, and they still do their therapy, and they're super brave and incredible. And you just, you know, you look at them and you're like, complaining about it, like really kind of humbles you and puts things in perspective, I think. So like to go back to your question earlier about like Mean Girls, or who cares? There's so many amazing people in your journey daily that you can learn from. And you know, life will present you with the shit and the great stuff. And it's kind of like your job and your choice, what you want to like zero in and focus in on, and what you just kind of want to.
The glass is always half full.
Always, 100% to that. Cheers.
Cheers to that. Glass half. Literally. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've asked this question to everyone that I've interviewed on my channel. If your parents, like if someone said this was gonna, like if you were 5 and someone showed like a videotape of your life now, they go, this is Tina's life, would they have believed the tape? Like would they have known you would have been this person right here?
No,
What would they have said? That's not Tina, or that's exactly my Tina?
You know what? I feel like my dad wasn't around much when I was growing up. He always worked overseas, and I've always had abandonment issues and stuff, but I'm a lot like him. And I've got a great relationship with him now, and I'm really fortunate that he's around now and gets to spend time with my kids. But, you know, in the past, I remember when I would complain to them, like, this is so unfair, you treat my brother so much differently, like, you know, he gets everything, and he would say to me, I know that if I drop you off in the middle of the street somewhere, that you will be fine, you know? And so I think as a parent, like I'm looking at my 2 boys now, and I love them both dearly, but you can do, you know, and you want to show them that they can do anything, but you have a good sense of their aptitude for certain things and their, you know, strengths and weaknesses. So they must have known. I've always been a survivor. Like when we moved here at 11 with 1 suitcase, lived in my aunt's basement, like the worst circumstances, you know, and then you kind of just
11, you said?
11, and you like, you kind of, you know, dig your way out of it, and you learn your survival mechanism by virtue of, you know, what you go through in life that makes you stronger, right? So I think my parents, maybe my mom, I don't know, but you know, I feel like they always kind of believed in me. They might not have had the best way of showing it as Middle Eastern parents, right? But I think so. I think maybe extended family, maybe not so much, you know, because Dad wasn't around, and I always kind of did my own thing and kind of grew up by the grace of God. I had a lot of guardian angels in my path, and you know, there's certain things that are said sometimes that stay with you, right?
Always.
And you remember them, and you're
just like random things that it's like a HD video.
Right. So I had this one like cousin, strangely enough, right? And I had started law school already. We were at like a family function, and there was someone else who was congratulating me, saying, wow, you know, we're so proud of you. And this one decided to chime in, yeah, who would have thought, right?
Oh,
and
the audacity. Where's that person now? Where is she now?
I mean, look, God bless her. She's a housewife with you know, 3 wonderful kids, and you know, the intelligence level, you got to question of someone who kind of has no filter and just says these kinds of things. But you know, at that moment, that really kind of sunk in and affected me, right?
Well, how old were you? What were you doing?
I mean, I was in law school, so I must have been like 21 or 22, you know, and you're at a phase where like, okay, well, I got in, you wouldn't have thought, but here I am, but shit, I have what it takes to make it through. And, you know, but I've always kind of made it a career out of proving people wrong, proving myself wrong, right? Because your own like limiting beliefs of shit, I can't do that. Well, that's not for a woman. Well, shit, am I strong enough to do that? But, you know, I think just getting over it and doing it anyway and facing it and doing it anyway. And at some point you start to realize, shit, this isn't luck. This isn't, you know, this is my own ability and strength, and that's getting me, and the grace of God that's getting me to the next level. And then
1,000%.
You start to believe in yourself more by virtue of, you know, persevering and getting through it and doing it. And so I think my parents would have, I think they would have.
I love, you know what's crazy? I think when you're growing up, you're always like, if you have more than one like sibling, you're like, my mom gives this sibling more attention. And then you're always like, I clearly don't matter. But at the end of the day, like what you said, your parents can turn around and say, I know you're going to be fine.
Yeah, that's exactly
I give attention to whoever isn't doing. Oh! That
was the evil eye. You got rid of the evil eye.
That's scary. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, don't worry about it. That's what we get for putting out cheap glasses.
What's one dream that you still have to give life to? Because dreams come to us for us to give them life.
Dreams come to us. Look, I've had a bucket list, but I think as humans we evolve, and our wants and needs and bucket list changes and evolves as we evolve and grow as human beings, right? And so there was a time where, you know, graduating law school, having my own practice, making it successful was like the ultimate, right? And then after that, you know, I love passion. It's like fashion. I like that.
She has a passion.
Fashion is definitely a passion of mine. And so, you know, I wanted to have some of these fun excursions. And if you would have told me what would happen, I wouldn't have believed you. So that was definitely something that kind of came true. So I don't know. I think like I want to explore. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I want to explore, you know, the creative space a little more. And I've been giving some thought to some things that I might do. You know, I'm very entrepreneurial. I invest in a lot of kind of startups and ideas and invest in other people's ideas. And so maybe I'll invest in an idea of my own one day in the space that I'm passionate about and see what happens. But
oh, I love that.
the rest is still unwritten. We'll have to,
see.
The sky's the limit. Yeah.
And if anyone can juggle being an amazing mom, a superwoman, an amazing lawyer, running an amazing house, it's you. So I have no doubt if you can add one more thing to the list, you are going to add 5 more, not even just one. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Now, last question. What's one thing that you can give to your audiences, my audiences, to be like, if you can go home with one thing, please let it be this?
I will say this. I have a lot of folks reaching out to me asking for advice, right? And
with what exactly? It was just
you know, we're thinking of going out on our own and the practice of law. Like, what do you think? We're thinking of taking the LSAT to attend law school, but we've been working in real estate the past 10 years. Do you think it's too late to change careers? Or, you know, anything work related or career related, or, you know, we want to go to law school, but we're in our 40s. Do you think it's too late? Is it really difficult to juggle with kids and so on and so forth? So I would say really do personal work to mute the limiting beliefs in your head and empower yourself to proceed forward. And what do I mean by that? Like, if you're thinking of doing something, just do it. You know, and if you need to get up in the morning and do affirmations in the mirror, I still do them. I'm worthy, I'm capable, I can do this, I've got this. You know, I am more than capable, or whatever it is that you need to do to rewire your brain to go from, oh my God, I'm gonna fail, to I'm gonna fucking kill this. I think you should do that. And secondly, I would say where you start out on your journey doesn't in any way, shape, or form dictate where you're going to end up, right?
Yeah, of course.
I think as a first-generation immigrant kid who came here with nothing, without having a dad around for over 2 decades, starting out in my aunt's basement, working in my mom's flower shop until the wee hours of the night, if you told me, you know, I'd graduate law school and, you know, build my dream home for my family and my 40s, and
from the ground up,
right, I would say there's no way. I mean, that's someone else's reality. That's just a dream. That wouldn't. But then again, you know, here I am. The one thing that's kind of not held me back, but always been something I've struggled with, is the confidence and the knowing that I can do it. And so when people ask me if there's one thing, I wish I can go back and tell my young self, you've got what it takes. You can do it.
You're worth it.
And that you're worth it. You've got this. You've got everything you need within yourself to create your own ultimate destiny. And so that's kind of a sensitive spot for me. So I try to instill that in young folks now who maybe don't have that confidence that only comes from doing it, right?
1000%.
So you got to fake it till you make it. So that's one thing I would say.
I love that, and I think that is like all of this is a result of what goes on up in here and how you believe in yourself. And it's not easy. It's never going to be easy. But the fact that you got to A to B, and you've created an amazing. Like, it's an amazing bubble. You're an entrepreneur. You're a beautiful person inside and out, and you're kind and you're down to earth. That's like the most important to me.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
Says a lot.
I appreciate it.
And it says a lot to your parents and their parents, and then to you as well.
I think we're all a work in progress, right?
Yeah.
And I think we learn something new every day. And you know, the minute you stop doing that is the minute you stop growing. So
yeah, and it's never too late. And
ever.
And you're the best example for that, for everything.
As are you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything that...
Question?
Yeah, of course.
Were you always this confident, like when it came to speaking, or like...
I'm confident when No,
Unless you
no.
checked yourself as being confident, or was that something you had to learn along the way?
So I am mortified of speaking, and
my
to the
God.
extent where, like, you know, I would get these opportunities and I would knock it out of the park, and people would like ask more, and I'd be like, holy shit, there goes another 6 months of my life. And I would prepare and over prepare to the point where I would go and just kill it, right? And people thought, oh, it's effortless, it's easy. But in reality, it was just so much work going into it. And so that was great, but then it got to be not feasible. You can't do that every time you're getting up there, right? And so I didn't like how it would come across if I didn't over prepare that much. So I decided to do something different. Like, rather than writing out exactly what I'm going to say, or, you know, whatever, I would just kind of put together some thoughts. I would have thoughts, and then it got to a point where I would no longer have to write down the thoughts. Let's say I've got a speaking gig in a week, I would think in my head. You know, I do my best thinking when I'm sleeping, I always joke. And so I would put together my like bullet point in my head of things I wanted to address. And then it would be like gold. I would go and kind of like this, like it wasn't pre-rehearsed, there was no script. And I just find it to be so much more authentic and relatable. And it's a matter of making provision to fail a little bit, right? So it's okay if you fumble, it's okay if you forget your words, it's not the end of the world, right? But that part of it is taken practice to be okay with. Before it was like, oh my God, it has to be perfect or I completely failed. And that's not reality, right? That's a metaphor for life, such as life, right? You're gonna fumble, some things are gonna be suboptimal, and that's okay, right? So I think the confidence in speaking, and again, going back to what I said earlier, I have everything it takes in my brain to give you the answer to your question, right? You're not gonna ask me something that's way outside the realm of my knowledge, right? It's just a matter of me believing that and knowing that I'm gonna be able to pull on my reservoir of knowledge and life experience to give you the answer you need. And once I believe that, then my delivery is gonna come across as confident or, you know, prepared, when in reality, it's just a matter of trusting yourself to say the right thing, and once in a while being okay if you don't.
Thank you so much. I think
Thank you.
it's so important to surround ourselves with people like you, honestly, because it's so easy to see one post, you know, as we were talking about before, and to get triggered and to feel down and to shut down and to get rid of social media because of that. And I think it's literally what you feed your soul, what you feed your brain is the most important. So thank you for being you. Thank you for coming back on my channel. And I hope my audiences learn. If it's one thing, if you can learn from Tina, it's just, you know, you can do whatever you put your mind to. Follow her on social media, follow her on Instagram, show her some love. And yeah, thank you so much for coming back on my channel.
Thank
I adore you.
Thank you so much. I adore you too. I adore you. I'm proud of you. It's always a pleasure to see really smart, vibrant Armenians coming up in their respective sectors, and I have a ton of respect for what it is that you do. And you do it so well, and you're articulate and you're natural, and you know this, I don't have to tell you this. So it's been a pleasure, and it never feels like work when I meet with you. So
Never. I adore you. So thank you so much. Subscribe, thumbs up this video, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below.